Okay, so imagine this for a moment. Imagine a system so precise that it keeps you alive just long enough to suffer. So efficient that it preserves chronic pain. So indifferent that it allows your body to slowly deteriorate as long as you reproduced first. That system exists. It is not outside of you. It is inside you. And it's called evolution. Number 8. Evolution doesn't register suffering. Evolution asks only one question. Did you survive long enough to reproduce? It doesn't care if you endured decades of pain. It doesn't care if anxiety consumed your life. It doesn't care if your body collapsed afterward. It only cares whether your genes moved forward. Pain exists because it works. It is an alarm system, brutally effective. It forces you to pull your hand from fire. It burns memory into your nervous system. It keeps you alive. But what happens when the alarm never turns off? When pain becomes chronic? When stress becomes constant? When the threat is no longer immediate but abstract? Evolution has no correction mechanism for that. It doesn't need one. Look at prey animals. They live in permanent hypervigilance. Their nervous systems are tuned to overreact because one mistake means death. 1,000 false alarms are safer than missing one real predator. In humans, this same wiring produces chronic anxiety. Your brain evolved for immediate threats, predators, famine, rival tribes. Now your threats are deadlines, social rejection, financial instability. Your nervous system cannot distinguish between a lion and an email notification. Both trigger the same stress cascade. And because modern threats never fully disappear, your body never fully relaxes. From evolution's perspective, the system works. You survived. You reproduced. Mission accomplished. Number 7. Evolution is good enough, never perfect. Evolution doesn't design from scratch. It modifies what already exists, layer upon layer, patch upon patch. The result is complexity without true optimization. Take your spine. It evolved from a structure designed for four-legged movement. When humans began walking upright, evolution didn't redesign it. It simply stacked it vertically. Now vertebrae absorb forces they were never meant to carry. Discs compress under unnatural angles. Muscles compensate constantly. Chronic back pain isn't unusual, it's predictable. The same applies to the human eye. Our retina is wired backward. Light must pass through layers of nerve tissue before reaching photoreceptors. This creates a blind spot, a structural flaw. Other species evolved cleaner designs. We inherited an ancient blueprint, and evolution patched it instead of replacing it. Why? Because rebuilding from zero is impossible in evolution. It can only modify what survives. A flawed system that works is always selected over a perfect system that requires starting over. Number 6. Harmful traits survive if you reproduce early. Evolution doesn't evaluate your entire lifespan. It evaluates your reproductive window. If a trait helps you reproduce before 30, it survives, even if it kills you at 50. There is no evolutionary filter for late-onset disease. By the time symptoms appear, your genes have already moved on. Many genetic disorders persist for this reason. They manifest too late to affect reproduction. From evolution's perspective, those individuals were successful. Sexual selection intensifies this. Traits that attract mates often reduce survival. The peacock's tail is heavy, bright, and dangerous, but it signals fitness, so it remains. In humans, risk-taking follows the same logic. Impulsivity, aggression, dominance behaviors. They increase injury rates, but they can increase status and mating opportunities early in life.
Evolution preserves early benefits. Late costs are irrelevant. Even depressive states have adaptive roots. Reduced motivation conserves energy during loss or scarcity. Social withdrawal can reduce conflict during vulnerability. These responses are adaptive, temporarily. But when they persist, evolution does nothing. Because under certain conditions, the mechanism still works. And that's enough. Number 5. Evolution rewards cruelty when it's efficient. Evolution has no moral preference. It does not favor kindness. It favors effectiveness. When cruelty increases survival or reproduction, cruelty spreads. Predators evolve methods that maximize energy gain, not minimize suffering. Long pursuits, intimidation, exhaustion tactics. Parasites evolve to extract resources while keeping hosts alive. Not from mercy, from optimization. A host that dies too quickly is wasteful. One that survives in prolonged distress is useful. In social species, dominance hierarchies reduce chaotic conflict, but they impose chronic stress on lower-ranking individuals. Evolution preserves the structure because group efficiency outweighs individual comfort. Empathy evolves when cooperation benefits shared genes. It disappears when resources become scarce. Morality is a coordination tool, not a cosmic principle. Cooperation and brutality coexist. Whichever works remains.
Number 4. Evolution accumulates damage and never cleans it. There is no maintenance phase in evolution, no biological audit that removes unstable traits simply because they are harmful long-term. The only question is, does it block reproduction early? If not, it stays. Mutations occur constantly during DNA replication. Most are neutral. Some are slightly harmful. Very few are immediately lethal. Evolution reliably removes the lethal ones. Everything else accumulates. Certain genes activate only under stress, aging, or environmental shifts. Others remain silent for decades before triggering disease. From evolution's view, these genes are invisible. Inflammatory responses protect against infection early in life, but they increase autoimmune risk later. High hormone sensitivity boosts growth and competitiveness, but destabilizes metabolism over time. Early benefit, late instability. Aging itself is not programmed, it is the visible accumulation of tolerated damage. Organisms are optimized for early performance, not for structural longevity. Number 3. Competition escalates into self-destruction. Evolution does not reward survival in isolation, it rewards outperforming others. Once competition intensifies, traits escalate regardless of cost. This creates biological arms races. One advantage triggers another. Size increases, aggression increases, displays intensify, energy demands rise, injury risk rises. Evolution doesn't impose moderation, it stops only when physical limits are reached. During mating seasons, some animals exhaust themselves completely. They stop eating, they fight until severely wounded. Mortality spikes, but a few reproduce successfully. That is enough. In humans, social competition mirrors this. Overwork, chronic stress, dominance behaviors, extreme ambition. They increase status and opportunity. They degrade health. Evolution does not penalize burnout, heart disease, or collapse if reproduction happens first. The system selects winners. Those who break in the process are acceptable losses. Number 2. Evolution has no concept of too far. Evolution cannot detect instability unless it causes immediate failure. Traits can intensify long after becoming dangerous. Highly specialized organisms are especially fragile. When a species optimizes for a narrow environment, even small changes can trigger collapse. Evolution does not preserve flexibility unless flexibility is rewarded immediately. Complex systems contain many failure points, yet evolution builds complexity when it provides short-term advantage.
When conditions shift, complexity becomes liability. Extinction is common not because species were weak, but because they were too optimized for environments that no longer exist. There is no upward trajectory, no guaranteed progress. Traits can regress, capabilities disappear. Intelligence persists only because it currently provides advantage. If conditions shift drastically, evolution will not protect it. There is no final version, only continuous adaptation until failure. Number 1. Evolution protects reproduction, not the future. Evolution is completely short-sighted. It does not plan. It does not safeguard long-term stability. It protects immediate reproductive success. Anything that does not interfere with reproduction is tolerated, regardless of future consequences. This explains why many species, including humans, are fragile over time. Traits that enhance youth survival persist, even if they damage the body later. Arteries were optimized for early survival, not decades of extended lifespan. Joints were built for movement in youth, not for 80 years of use. Neurons were selected for reproductive era performance, not indefinite stability. Aggression, high metabolism, competitiveness all increase early success. They often damage longevity. Evolution tolerates the cost because reproduction happened. Even ecosystems operate under this logic. Predator-prey cycles fluctuate violently. Resources collapse. Species disappear. Evolution does not preserve balance. It favors what works now. Collapse is not an error. It is part of the process. Humans temporarily buffer some limitations with technology and medicine, but evolution itself remains indifferent. If conditions shift dramatically, the rules change instantly. Survival depends on reproduction first, not intelligence, not morality, not preparation. In summary, evolution protects the immediate. Longevity is optional. Stability is optional. Sustainability is optional. Life continues not because it is well designed, but because it reproduces. We've seen how evolution really works. It is not noble. It has no direction. It does not care about suffering, efficiency, or justice. It asks only one question: did you survive long enough to reproduce? If the answer is yes, then everything that followed, chronic pain, degenerative disease, mental collapse, is irrelevant. We are the result of millions of years of good enough solutions, bodies that function just long enough, minds that endure just enough, systems that slowly degrade after their purpose is fulfilled. And maybe that's the most unsettling part. There is no master plan, no higher intention, just a blind mechanism optimizing for the present and leaving the future to handle itself. And remember, the universe doesn't reveal its secrets to those who rush. It reveals them to those who know how to look. Subscribe and keep listening to the silence.